Wow, how are we ever going to match that? Well, we're back up. We're back down at the start with the Thames Challenge Cup now. This is for Club 8 between Thames Rowing Club A on the Berkshire Station and Vesta Rowing Club A on the Buckinghamshire Station. And this is the battle of the Putney Embankment, Catherine.
Isn't it just? I feel I've hardly caught my breath in the single scullers. Now we're watching 2/8s power down the course straight away. So another, I mean, we could be equally matched again.
Well, we're looking there at Vesta Rowing Club A, who have taken the lead off the start here. This Vesta A crew is the top entry for them, but they've just been overpowered by Thames Rowing Club, who were the fastest Club 8 at the Met Regatta on the second day of racing on the Sunday. And look, you can just tell this crew means business.
Right, and now that intensity, I mean, obviously every crew comes out the start at maximum speed, but it's how much you can hold on to that intensity as you move into that middle part of the race. Again, an eight that can take a length sort of out of the first few hundred metres is really doing some damage to the opposition.
Well, Thames Rowing Club in the last few years have just gone from strength to strength. They kind of started their dominance in this event in 2015, had a bit of a gap where Molesey won it in 2016, but then back-to-back Thames Challenge Cup champions in 2017 and 18. They are really ones to watch in this event, and they just seem to keep finding more athletes, Catherine. You know, there's more guys coming through. They hear about the success of the programme at Thames, and they flood because they know they've got an opportunity to win a prestigious event like Henley Royal Regatta.
Yeah, and this is when, you know, when you sometimes we see clubs going through this period of dominance when they've just got the setup right, and they do attract, you know, brilliant athletes, but how it's coached, how it's trained, what the programme is like, sometimes you just get on this roll, and again the confidence that comes from you know, you're putting on the kit of a club that knows how to win, and that makes quite a difference in the start line.
Well, we're looking at Vesta Rowing Club A now, the top boat from Vesta, like we said, and actually a special year for Vesta last year where the regatta didn't take place. It was their 150th anniversary, so making up for lost time here. Certainly they would have been looking to do a road past at the regatta back in 2020. Unfortunately, that can't happen again this year, but yeah, they've had a special celebration. We were talking earlier about rowing with passion, about things that you care about, and you care about your club and your club mates, and I'm sure they've had a great time celebrating that really momentous milestone in the club's history.
150th year birthday, you absolutely deserve to celebrate that one. And again, you know, there's a club with incredible history behind it, and every athlete in there will be rowing with a passion for their club and for each other. Right now it's going to be feeling hard for Vesta. They really will have felt they've lost contact with Thames now. You know, when you're glancing aside, especially in that bow seat, you're constantly checking on where that opposition is, and you've just seen there the cocks of the Thames boat having to physically turn quite a long way around to see where Vesta are, and at that point, you know, if you're in the stroke seat watching your cocks do that, you know you're in a good place.
Yeah, Hannah Taylor, the cocks for Thames Rowing Club A, a previous Henley coxswain. She coxed Newcastle in the Temple back in 2017, and she's actually got quite an interesting job, Catherine, as well.
Oh, apparently, according to my notes, she's a falconer at the Hawk Conservatory, which I don't think we often see down the Henley course. I'd like to see the hawks flying overhead, but not today. We've got the drones flying overhead instead, which give us these beautiful photos of the course. And yet again, we see Thames just settling their rate down a bit. They know they've got the lead they need. Again, we always say this, but they're not going to want to use any more energy than they need to. They've got big racing coming up over the weekend. And they're still putting a lot of work down. You can see the blades as they get into the water and the legs pushing through the really nice sort of contact, long, strong strokes. But the rates just come down enough to feel comfortable as they keep moving away from Vesta.
Yeah, they're just going to want to conserve energy now because, again, there'll be some big races coming up against old rivals in the Thames Challenge Cup, and we'll have to wait to see who they'll face a little bit later on. But it's still Thames Rowing Club A moving away, and lots of experience in this boat, lots of Henley experience, and that's been one of my favourite additions to the programme actually, is the little signals here. If you're at the regatta, the programmes now include how many times somebody has raced at the regatta, and if you look down the Thames Rowing Club A boat, you know, we've got people who have done 6, 7, even 9 regattas. Sam Thornton in the 2-seat for Thames Rowing Club A, he's done 9 Henley Royal Regattas before.
I know, and you look at Vesta, and Vesta's actually got an incredible pedigree as well, but it just can't compete with those 9 people from the Thames Rowing Club who have been here at least twice before, and that experience does speak for a lot. You know, we talk a lot about how different this event feels. Sitting on the start line, you know, no bylines between the crews. You know, you've got so close to the crowds that you can hear. The booms either side for steering can add a little bit more tension than normal. So it's a very different experience racing at Henley. So to have been here and done it before just gives you a confidence, not just of being able to cope with those different conditions, but also knowing what it means to be here.
Yeah, and everyone always talks about how different the Henley water feels to row on. And again, that was another thing actually when I was talking to Simone Martini. He was saying in the single, it feels so different. And to come here, you know, coming from the tideway, you're probably better equipped than most to deal with some of the bounce and the wash that you get. But yeah, it can be a beast of its own here between the booms.
It is, and it's lively water. You know, we can sometimes just from the weather, just from the wind or the rain, it can affect it a lot. But because our boats, you see just there's boats going up on the outside, sort of powered boats, and that can mean you get sort of waves coming through that you wouldn't expect at different parts of the course. You get the wash coming over from the warm-up part, from the warm-down, so there are extra challenges for all the boats, and the smaller boats will feel that. We always talk about feeling quite lively. It's quite lively water. It's not always a good thing.
Yes, lively is probably a bit of a euphemism for I was thrown around all over the place with the headwind and the wash and everything else, and the crew coming across into my station. But it's what makes it exciting and unique, this course.
I remember the first time I came to Henley, someone saying, well, if you clip a champagne bottle Louis Pass, you know you've made it to Henley. So there's definitely different challenges we see at other courses.
Well, Thames Rowing Club A going for a stroll past the enclosures. They'll live to see another day to look to write their name on the trophy once again. But they've already faced Vesta once earlier in the week. They raced Vesta C on Wednesday. They're now through Vesta A, the top Vesta crew. They've plucked them off, and we'll see who they match on the Saturday a little bit later on. Here come Vesta through the line. And some great sportsmanship that we always see from all of our competitors here at the Regatta.